You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. A National League matchup taking place tonight between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers. See Bryce Harper and Didi Gregorius there with Rhys Hoskins. Phillies, the visiting team, playing at Miller Park. And here's Adrian Hauser on the mound for the Brewers. Hauser 0-2 in 3 starts. When the Brewers were in Philadelphia earlier this month, Hauser also started a game in that series. The Phillies were one of his 2 losses on the year. Here's Andrew McCutchen. He'll lead off the ball game at the plate. Was injured to start the year, but came back off the injured list around the end of last week. And he's now playing center field. So Jay Bruce has now become a bench bat. And McCutchen, the leadoff hitter for the Phillies, and he's heading the count 2-0. Batting .346 this season in just a few games. To this point, McCutchen has had 26 at-bats and has had 9 hits in those 26 at-bats, and Hauser falls behind against McCutchen 3-0. The last time the Phillies and Brewers played each other earlier this month, McCutchen was not a part of that team at the time. These two previously played each other in a 3-game series that lasted from April the 2nd and ended on April the 5th. And the Phillies won 2 of those 3 games in that series. Hit one to left field. Back goes Ryan Braun, and he's going to play it off the wall. McCutchen heads into second base, and he's on base with a leadoff double. McCutchen doubled in yesterday's game as well. A game that the Phillies lost 2-0, but a well-struck ball here. And the Phillies with some immediate offense right at the beginning of this game. Here's JT Realmuto. 207 hitter entering play. Take strike 1. Realmuto, 1 home run and 6 RBIs so far this year. Gold Glove Award winner at the catcher position in the National League last season. Here comes the 1-0. Or 0-1, excuse me. That's a swing and a miss. Counts 0-2. But the Brewers won yesterday in the first game of the series by a score of 2-0. As Realmuto strikes out there. That's the first out at the stop of the first inning. Game 1 won by the Brewers. This is game 2 now of a 4-game series. 4 straight games with no breaks. And this is the second time these two teams are seeing each other this season. Here's Bryce Harper. Harper swings and fouls a pitch off. It's 0-1. Harper in the last series, the 3-game series these two played in Philadelphia, he hit a home run in that series. To start this series, he is 0 for 4. That's what he went yesterday.
1-1.
Counts even 1-1. Harper entering play is batting .239 with 2 home runs and 12 RBIs.
Oh, that's too high.
Not quite a contact approach, not hitting for average, but he is being a run producer in this Phillies team. Did the same thing last year, too. His average was in the mid-200s, but he hit over 30 home runs and had over 110 RBIs, too. That pitch hit one to right field. Going back is Yelich. He's on the warning track. Leaps. Can't make the play. And Bryce Harper has hit a home run. And now he has 14 runs batted in. That's his 3rd home run of the season. And right in the first inning, the Phillies have a 2-0 lead early. Majestic fly ball just snuck over the wall there, out of Christian Yelich's reach. And Hauser giving up runs quick. Here's Rhys Hoskins. 290 hitter with 1 home run and 9 RBIs entering tonight's game. McCutchen doubled the lead off the top of the first inning. Realmuto got out. And Bryce Harper just homered. It's 2-0. Hoskins down to the count. No balls, 2 strikes. And he fouls that pitch off, stays alive. Hoskins came up with the Phillies as a left fielder, but with the Phillies upgrading their outfield, Hoskins moved to a more comfortable position playing first base. Not really pristine with his glove, but his lineup
The count is 1 and 2.
is good enough to be in the middle of this Phillies lineup. It's a good hitter and produces runs for this team. Hoskins also participated in the Home Run Derby in 2018 at Nationals Park. That's the year that Bryce Harper won in front of the D.C. fans when the Nationals hosted the All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend. Swung out and missed. Adrian Hauser has struck out Realmuto and now Hoskins. That's out number 2 here in inning 1. And here comes Didi Gregorius, the shortstop of the Phillies. Gregorius, former Cincinnati Red, Arizona Diamondback, New York Yankee, and now playing for the Philadelphia Phillies.
0-1's the count.
He signed with the Phillies this past offseason after the Yankees were not interested in offering him a new contract. They committed most of their funds for the offseason to Garrett Cole.
The count's 1-1.
Meanwhile, Joe Girardi is now the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, so he and Gregorius have had a reunion.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Girardi was part of the reason that Phillies management went out and signed Gregorius. It was on Joe Girardi's word that Gregorius was an impactful player, and he certainly was in New York. Definitely an above-average hitter, played shortstop. And a good personality to have in a clubhouse or in a dugout, even on the field. 1-2 pitch. Here it comes from Hauser. That's fouled off. And Gregorius extends this plate appearance. Count still 1-2. That's outside. The count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right now the Brewers are tied for the NL Central lead with the Cubs. They each have 10-6 records.
The count is full.
And the Brewers and Cubs both are on a 3-game winning streak coming into their games tonight. The Phillies are 2.5 games back of the Nationals in second place for the NL East lead with a 9-8 record. The Nationals are 11-5. Gregorius just beat the shift. That ball's going to roll to the wall. Gregorius on his way to second, and Braun picks it up. Throws it into Arcia, the cutoff man. That's the 3rd hit this half inning for the Phillies. That's Gregorius' 3rd double of the season. And the Phillies have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. So McCutchen led off this ball game with a double. JT Realmuto struck out. Bryce Harper hit a 2-run home run. Rhys Hoskins struck out. And Didi Gregorius just doubled. Here's Gene Segura. 2 outs, runner on second, and he takes strike 1 from Hauser, who is about to throw his 30th pitch of this half inning. Here comes the 0-1. Tapped foul, count, no balls and 2 strikes. Segura in yesterday's game, in game 1 of this series, went 0 for 4. This is game 2 of a 4-game series. The Phillies already out in front 2-0. Hit high into right field by Segura. There's Christian Yelich. That is caught out in right field, and that will end this half of the first. 2 runs scored on 3 hits. As a matter of fact, the 2 runs were scored on this 1 hit, the home run by Bryce Harper. 1 runner left on base going to the bottom of the first inning. It's the Phillies 2 and the Brewers coming to bat. Former Cy Young Award winner Jake Arrieta takes the mound for the Phillies. Former Baltimore Oriole and most notably was the ace of the Chicago Cubs for a few seasons. They'll face Eric Sogard to begin the Brewers' half of the first inning. First pitch is called a strike, counts 0-1. You see there the Phillies 2.5 games out of the Washington Nationals right now in second place in the NL East. And it hasn't really been a definitive NL East so far. The Marlins led at one point. The Phillies were leaders at one point as well. But the Nationals in the midst of a 3-game winning streak. As Sogard hits that ball on the ground to the right side, Hoskins flips to Arrieta covering. And that's out number 1. Take a look at now at the Brewers' starting lineup. Sogard playing third base, batting leadoff. Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, Ryan Braun, and Justin Smoke make up the middle of the order. Brock Holt, newly signed with the Brewers, batting 6th, playing second base. And then you have Omar Narvaez and Orlando Arcia rounding out the order before the pitcher's spot, and Adrian Hauser comes up in the 9th spot. Cain, 2019 Gold Glove Award winner, starts off 2020 with a .311 average with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. There's the 1-0 from Arrieta. That misses, counts 2 balls and no strikes. Cain on a hot streak these last 9 games. He's batting .371. In yesterday's game, Cain went 0 for 4, however. Struck out a couple times. Two-one count on Lorenzo Cain. And he swings and misses. The count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lorenzo Cain, a former Kansas City Royal and World Series champion with that team in 2015. Has been with the Brewers ever since 2018. He's entering his 3rd season now in Milwaukee. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Softly toward right field. Hoskins can't make the play, and Harper will back him up and get it in. That's a 1-out single for Lorenzo Cain.
Batting first, the right fielder, Christian Yelich.
And that'll bring up the 2018 National League Most Valuable Player, Christian Yelich. And if it weren't for him being injured at the end of the season last year, he very well might have repeated. It was him and Cody Bellinger who were the frontrunners of the Most Valuable Player award, and Bellinger ended up winning. And now it's a 2-0 count on Yelich. The Brewers last season made the 2nd wild card spot and made it to the postseason, but lost to the Washington Nationals. The Phillies, despite all the hype, all the offseason moves that they made, with all the acquisitions they had, were not able to make the postseason. 3-0 pitch to Yelich. He swings and fouls it off. Counts 3-1. The Braves won the NL East last season. The Nationals picked up a wild card spot in the NL East. The Mets finished 3rd, and the Phillies finished 4th. And of course, that leaves the Marlins, who finished in last place. Swinging a foul ball, the count's still full 3-2. The Marlins, who were once the worst team in the National League, have had a bit of a presence about them. Haven't started off the year too poorly. Marlins are 6-10, 5 games out of the division. And the division leaders, again, are the Nationals. They're 11-5. Excuse me, the Marlins are 9-8. Tied for second place with the Phillies. Anyhow, Segura to Gregorius, back to Hoskins. That's a double play. And Christian Yelich ends the inning with that. No runs on a hit for the Brewers and no runners left on base going to the second inning. It's the Phillies 2 and the Brewers 0.
The third baseman.
You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 7-8-9 due up for the Phillies. It'll be Scott Kingery, Adam Hazley, and then Jake Arrieta. Adrian Hauser pitching now in the second inning, the starter of this game for the Brewers on the mound. Hauser gave up a double to Andrew McCutchen and then a home run to Bryce Harper. That made it 2-0 in the first. And now here he is pitching in the second
2 balls, 1 strike.
to Scott Kingery. Kingery starting the year with a 3.09 average.
2-2 the count.
Kingery has 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. Strikes out in this at-bat, though. And Hauser now with 3 strikeouts. That's 1 out.
Batting 8. The center fielder.
That'll bring up Adam Hazley. Hazley starting off the year rather poorly offensively. Has a 161 average with 1 home run and 8 RBIs. And yesterday against the Brewers, he went 0 for 3.
Inside ball.
Counts even 1-1. However, he is more in the lineup to be a quality center fielder for this team, and so far he has been a respectable defensive center fielder. And that at bat, he pops out to Ryan Braun.
Batting 9. The pitcher.
And after giving up 2 runs in the first inning, Adrian Hauser sets down the first 2 hitters of this second inning quickly, and that'll bring up number 9 hitter and pitcher Jake Arrieta. Arrieta, not a bad hitter for a pitcher. He's been known to club a ball or 2 out every once in a while. Arrieta was a 5th-round draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles in 2007. He started his career there and went to the Cubs and helped them rebuild. Found a good pitching style there. Won a Cy Young and a World Series with the Cubs in 2016. Was a Cy Young Award winner in 2015. And now playing for the Phillies. Signed with them in free agency. Two-one pitch. Swing and a miss. Counts even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies were hoping that Aaron Nola and Arrieta would complement each other at the top of the rotation. Arrieta hasn't been able to sustain an ace spot, so that was awarded to Nola.
We got 3-2.
Arrieta more in his vintage form now. Not quite the pitcher he used to be, but a nice veteran arm to have in the rotation. 3-2 pitch coming from Hauser. And Arrieta fouls that pitch off and stays alive. Arrieta not going out lightly in the number 9 spot. Making Hauser continue to work. Hits that pitch in play. Shallow right center. Yelich on the run. He makes the catch. And the top of the second's over. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Phillies. Going to the bottom of the second inning, it's the Phillies 2 and the Brewers 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Bottom of the second inning rolling around, and an early score we have so far. The Phillies Got 2 runs at the top of the first on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run. Brewers are still scoreless. Went down 1-2-3, but that's not entirely true. Kane singled, and then Yelich grounded into a double play. So the minimum batters were faced. But the Brewers did get a hit. Counts even 1-1 now on Ryan Braun, 2011 most valuable player in the National League. Played all over the place in his career. Started as a third baseman. Played right field, left field. Now the Brewers experimenting with him at first base. The Brewers outfield is quite crowded right now, too. You have Braun in left, Kane in center, Yelich in right, and also Avisail Garcia, who can play left or right field. He's on the bench for this game, but the Brewers felt it necessary to sign him in the offseason. And so he'll be platooning around, giving each other outfielder a chance to rest from time to time. Braun works the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's a pitch from Arrieta. Popped into the air, shallow right field. Harper and Segura each have a play. Segura calls off Harper and makes the catch. That's out. Here's the starting defense for the Philadelphia Phillies. McCutchen in left, Hazley in center, Harper in right, and Kingery at third. Gregorius at short, Segura at second, Hoskins at first, and then JT Realmuto doing the catching. And he's the reigning Gold Glove Award winner at the catcher position in the National League. Swing and a fly ball hit well toward right center field. That ball's going to fall. Rounding first and heading for second is Justin Smoak. And he has the second hit now for the Brewers in this game. It's a 1-out double.
Batting fifth, the second baseman, Rock Holt.
Oh, a well-executed swing. Center cut. Took advantage of the ball over the heart of the plate. And that'll bring up Brock Holt, number 6 hitter, former Boston Red Sox, playing in his first season with the Milwaukee Brewers. Keston Hiura was the second baseman of the Brewers to start the season. However, he fractured his wrist in early April. So he's on the injured list. So Holt is playing second base consistently. Eric Sogard still playing third consistently. And it was different, too, because the Brewers also had Jed Jorko on the bench. And Jorko was going to be a platoon third baseman and face left-handed pitching and play third. And Holt would only play second base against right-handed pitching. Sogard would man second base with a lefty on the mound. But then Jed Jorko got hurt and landed himself on the injured list, so Holt is the everyday second baseman for the Brewers at this point. And that'll remain the same until Hiura comes off the injured list, Jorko comes off the injured list, or if Holt does well enough, he might not get taken out of the lineup. 3-1 pitch from Arrieta. On the ground right side. Segura plays it, throws to Hoskins. And that's out number 2. Meanwhile, Smoak moves from second to third on the play. And that'll bring up the Brewers' number 7 hitter, Omar Narvaez. Narvaez, a former Chicago White Sox and Seattle Mariner, was traded over here to the Brewers this offseason. He and Manny Pena are platoon catchers, but Narvaez is the veteran presence on the team. Pena's still a relatively young catcher. And with Narvaez being the left-handed hitter and the righty Arrieta on the mound, that's the matchup the Brewers wanted to have. Smoak's on third. He doubled and then was advanced to third on the Holt ground out. And here's Narvaez with 2 outs and a 1-0 pitch coming to him. That's outside. Counts 2 balls and no strikes. Navarez yesterday went 1 for 3.
3 on the count.
3 balls and no strikes is the count. He also had a run batted in and walked once. The Brewers changed up the lineup a bit for yesterday's game. Kane was the leadoff hitter. Holt batted second. Yelich was the number 3 hitter, and Navarez batted cleanup. Now batting here in the number 7 spot. Just a variation yesterday, but this lineup that they have now has been their typical standard lineup as Navarez hits that to the right side. Segura. So Hoskins ends the inning. So Jake Arrieta works around the 1-out double and keeps the Brewers scoreless through 2 innings. No runs on a hit and 1 runner left on base. Moving to the 3rd inning, it's the Phillies 2 and the Brewers 0. It's a little too early for Brewtober time, isn't it? We're still in April, there are fans. Anyhow, I'm Nicholas Callis. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, and all these simulations brought to you by MLB The Show 20. And the best part about these simulations is you don't have any commercials, so these games will just keep zipping along, and you can enjoy gameplay and not ads from goodness knows who. Here's Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen 1 for 1 in this game. Also yesterday went 1 for 4. This is game 2 of a 4-game series between these two. And McCutchen hitting well in the series so far, has a couple hits. And the 1-1 is down low. The count's 2 balls and 1 strike now in favor of McCutchen. So McCutchen led off the ball game with a double, and then he scored on the Bryce Harper 2-run home run. And that pitch hit in the air down the right side. That'll go foul. And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Broken bat toward Hauser on the mound. He will throw over to Smoke. And that's 1 out in the top of the 3rd inning.
Now batting, catcher, JT Realmuto.
Just so you're aware, if you're new to Major League Baseball's virtual network, let me tell you about it. This is the network that you can go to watch baseball while the coronavirus is impacting the real world. So if you're good at playing pretend or imagining, this is the place that you want to be. It gives your brain actual images and visualizations of how a Major League season would happen. So you can play pretend all you want with this network. JT Realmuto at the plate takes strike 1. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. But back to MLB's virtual network. So all 30 teams will be covered in some capacity every day. There will be 2 featured games every day that you can watch through YouTube. Base hit for Realmuto. Yelich will throw it in. But go to Twitter and follow at Virtual MLB, and you can check news and other information on that medium. And then go to MLB Virtual Network on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. You can see schedules for upcoming broadcasts. You can see highlights from each game of the day that was broadcast. You can check updates, which update you on scores and standings of all 30 teams in the league day to day. And then you can check archives of full broadcasts if you want to go back and act like you're watching the game in real time. But this is your canvas to enjoy baseball and to pretend like the season was never postponed. Realmuto back safely at first. Bryce Harper at the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a 2-run home run he hit back in the first inning. Has a runner on here with 1 out. McCutchen got out to begin the inning. And Realmuto just singled. So breaking news here as well from MLB.com. Steve Pearce, former Pittsburgh Pirate, Baltimore Oriole, Toronto Blue Jay, and Boston Red Sox I won the World Series with them in 2018. He announced his retirement. On the ground right side, played by Smoke. Over to Arcia and back to Smoke. That's a double play that ends the inning. We'll give you more information on Steve Pearce as we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's the Phillies 2 and the Brewers 0. Well, look at that. The other side of the break came quickly. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Jake Arrieta pitching now in his third inning as Phillies starter. But Steve Pearce, according to MLB.com, is retiring. Said that yesterday on Boston's radio station WEEI. Accumulated 10 years of MLB service time and was the 2018 World Series MVP with the Red Sox. Was a talented player later in his career, but
The count is 1-2.
he made the announcement on his 37th birthday, which was yesterday. But he is retiring. Steve Pearce has retired from Major League Baseball. Announced that officially. That's line and a base hit for Orlando Arcia. He'll round first and go to second as McCutchen plays it. And it's a leadoff double in the bottom of the third for Orlando Arcia.
The pitcher, Adrian.
Brewers now with an opportunity to chip away at the Phillies' lead early in this one. That'll bring up number 9 hitter and pitcher Adrian Hauser. A bunt situation, and yes, Hauser does show bunt toward the third base side. That's played by Kingery, who will throw to Hoskins, but it's off the bag. Hoskins was pulled off the bag, and Kingery is hit with an error. And so now the Brewers are set up with an even better opportunity here. Arcia's on third, and Hauser's on first. Nobody out. Top of the order coming up for the Brewers. It's Eric Sogard. Phillies scored 2 runs in the first inning on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run, and now the Brewers with an opportunity to chip away at the deficit. That pitch misses outside. That's ball 1. Sogard's been around Major League Baseball for a while now. Played for the Rays last season and now playing for the Brewers. 1-0 pitch. Chopped foul, counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. Arrieta didn't have very many problems through the first 2 innings, and although it's still early. Pitch. Chopped foul, count 1 and 2. Arrieta ahead now in the count. This is game 2 of a 4-game series between these two. The Brewers won game 1 yesterday 2-0. And there are no breaks in this series. They will be played consecutively. Game 2's today, game 3's tomorrow, and game 4 is on Thursday. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Arrieta. On the ground right side, foul. And the count will remain 2-2. Brewers fans already experiencing action in the early innings. 2-2 pitch. And they're on their feet. That misses low. The count's full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And a dangerous part of the Brewers' order is looming in the dugout. Kane on deck and Yelich in the hole. 3-2 pitch to Sogard. That doesn't find the zone. And now the bases are loaded for the Brewers. Orlando Arcia hit a leadoff double. Adrian Hauser attempted to bunt Arcia over to third, but Scott Kingery made an error at third base. So that's how Hauser reached. He's on second, and Sogard just walked. He's on first. And here comes Lorenzo Cain. Cain 1 for 1 in this game. He has 5 RBIs on the season. and takes ball one outside. Some early offensive opportunities for both teams. Brewers with a golden opportunity to score in the third inning. 1-0 pitch. Hit well to right field. Harper will catch. Tagging is Arcia. He's coming to the plate. And the tag applied by Real Muto's in time. And a wonderful throw by Bryce Harper. Cuts down Arcia trying to score. And that's out number 2 in the bottom of the third inning. So a double play there. Kane flies out to Harper, and Harper throws out Arcia trying to score from third. Now 2 outs. Here's Christian Yelich.
0-1.
Still runners on first and second for the Brewers. Hauser's on second, and Sogard is on first base. 0-1 pitch from Arrieta. That was right over the middle of the plate, but Yelich spits on it. Counts 0-2. Yelich 0 for 1 against Arrieta. Grounded into a double play back in the first inning. 0-2 pitch coming. That's hit well to right center field. Back to the wall. Off the wall. Hauser will score from second. Sogard will stop at third. Yelich into second as Hazley's relay gets into Real Muto. That's an RBI double for Christian Yelich. And the Brewers cut the lead in half early. It's now 2-1. Phillies still in the lead. That was close to being a 3-run home run, but the Brewers don't go away empty-handed in this half inning. They at least have 1 run. Still 2 outs, both runners in scoring position. Here's Ryan Braun, who takes strike 1. Arrieta was close to escaping this inning, giving up no runs. He had the bases loaded and nobody out. Then it was runners on first and second, 2 out, before Yelich hit that double to score a run. And now Ryan Braun, who's 0 for 1, has a 1-1 count on him. Sogard's on third, Yelich is on second, 2 outs. Bottom of the third, 2-1's the score. Here's the pitch from Arrieta. Lined up the middle, that's going to be a base hit. Sogard will score from third. Hazley's throw coming around, it's cut off by Hoskins as Yelich scores, and Braun, trying to advance to second, will be tagged out by Didi Gregorius. The cut from Hoskins was thrown in. That ends the inning, but Braun gets a couple of RBIs, and the Brewers have taken a 3-2 lead going into the fourth inning. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Corbin Burns already in the bullpen for the Brewers. In the fourth inning, Adrian Hauser working upwards of 60 pitches now. Coming into the fourth inning, he's at 56. Facing the 4, 5, 6 hitters in the Phillies order. Gets ahead of Rhys Hoskins, strike 1. It'll be Hoskins, then Didi Gregorius, and Gene Segura. They're all scheduled to bat in this half inning. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball left side into the shift. Played by Sogard. He'll throw over to Smoke. And after 2 pitches, Hoskins is out to begin the top of the fourth inning.
Now batting.
So the Phillies scored on a 2-run home run by Bryce Harper in the first inning, and then the Brewers came back in the bottom of the third, scored on a Christian Yelich RBI double, and Ryan Braun got 2 RBIs on a single. And that made it 3-2. Now we're here in the fourth. Didi Gregorius up to the plate. He went 2 for 4 in yesterday's game, and he's now 3 for 5 after getting a hit in his first at-bat of this game. Ball's behind in this plate appearance, though. 0-2's the count now on him. 1 out. Bases empty. Here's the pitch from Hauser. Swinging a foul ball. Count still 0-2. Gregorius, the shortstop now with the Philadelphia Phillies. Gene Segura moved from shortstop now to second base.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Segura is also a member of the Milwaukee Brewers toward the beginning of his career. Segura now at second. Gregorius now at short. And Cesar Hernandez, who was the second baseman of the Phillies last season, signed with the Cleveland Indians in free agency. 2-2 pitch. Hit in the air and foul. The count still even 2 balls and 2 strikes. And as for the other infielders, Hoskins came from left field to play first base with the acquisition of Andrew McCutchen in 2019. And Scott Kingery, who came up as a prospect shortstop with the Phillies, is now playing the vacated third base after the Phillies did not have interest in signing back Maikel Franco. Grounded toward the shift. Holt plays it and throws to Smoke, but Gregorius beats it out.
Now that second base.
It'll technically be an infield single for Gregorius, because Holt fielded that ball in shallow right field. That was a close play, where Gregorius beat it out in the eyes of the umpire. So with 1 out and a runner on first, here's Gene Segura. He takes ball 1. Segura 0 for 1. Has started this year out slow. He was the leadoff hitter for the Phillies in Andrew McCutchen's absence, but since McCutchen's back in the lineup now, Segura moved from the leadoff spot to the number 6 hitter. And that could help the Phillies in both ways, because he wasn't producing out of the leadoff spot, and McCutchen has throughout his career. 2-0 pitch coming from Adrian Hauser. Hit well to right field, and Yelich can't make the play. That'll fall in. Yelich throws it in to Arcia. Gregorius, however, safe at second. And Segura's aboard at first with a single. So 1 out. That'll bring up number 7 hitter Scott Kingery, who is 0 for 1 against Adrian Hauser. Hauser about to throw his 70th pitch. And that misses ball 1. Gregorius on second and Segura on first. They both singled to get on base. And Hauser falls behind Kingery now. 2 balls and no strikes is the count. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That misses low, and Hauser falls behind 3-0. The Brewers just got the lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning, scoring 3 runs. Strike 1 from Hauser, but Phillies in a position to take the lead back with 2 runners on and 1 out. Phillies scored in the 1st inning on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run, and the Brewers scored 3 runs on a couple hits in the 3rd inning. 3-1 pitch to Kingery. That misses outside. And Kingery issued a walk. That loads the bases for the Phillies with 1 out.
The center fielder, Adam Hazley.
That'll bring up number 8 hitter Adam Hazley. Hazley 0 for 1 in tonight's game. Now batting .158. Has 1 home run and has driven in 8 runs. Consistently batted 8th with the Phillies. More known for his defensive abilities than his offensive abilities, but has produced runs at a decent rate so far with the Phillies. You see there has an average of .385 with runners in scoring position. 0-1 pitch. On the ground right side and foul. Count 0-2. Gregorius is on third. He's singled. Segura is on second. He also singled. And then on first is Kingery. He just walked. And that hit Hazley, but he swung at the pitch. Oh, that's a rarity, everybody. Holy smokes. Adam Hazley strikes out after getting hit with a pitch because he swung at it. And now there are 2 outs in this half inning, and Jake Arrieta will bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs, attempting to help himself out from the offensive side of this game. 2-0's the count now. Hauser falls behind. Arrieta milked out an at-bat against Hauser the first time these two faced off. At least with Arrieta as the hitter and Hauser as the pitcher. Now Arrieta in a hitter's count, 2 balls and no strikes. Hauser more than likely about to throw his 80th pitch. And it's outside. The count's 3 balls and no strikes on Jake Arrieta. The tying run right now stands at third base in the form of Didi Gregorius, and Hauser is 1 pitch out of the zone away from walking the pitcher and letting that run score. 3-0 coming. That doesn't find the zone. That's ball 4. Jake Arrieta has driven in a run on a walk. Gregorius scores from third. Segura moves from second to third. And Kingery moves from first to second. The bases are still loaded. The top of the Phillies order is coming up. And this game is tied at 3. And here comes Craig Counsell out of the Brewers dugout. Adrian Hauser cannot pitch out of the 4th inning. Gave up 3 earned runs, and unfortunately for him, the book's not over on him yet. Every runner on base is his responsibility. The only thing working for the Brewers right now is that there are 2 outs. But here comes Corbin Burns. He is listed as the long relief arm in the Brewers bullpen. He's pitched in 8 games, but hasn't come in this early to a game yet. They'll face Andrew McCutchen with the bases loaded and 2 outs. McCutchen 1 for 2. Hit a double in the first inning and later scored on the Bryce Harper 2-run home run. Grounded towards short. Arcia flips to Holt covering second. Arrieta's out at second. And that ends the top of the 4th. Phillies get a run thanks to a walk issued to Jake Arrieta. Going to the bottom of the 4th inning, it's 3-3. Philadelphia and Milwaukee tied. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. We're coming to the bottom of the 4th inning now, and this game has been filled with offense so far. The Phillies scored 2 runs in the first inning on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run. The second inning went scoreless. In the bottom of the 3rd, the Brewers scored 3 runs thanks to a Christian Yelich double and a Ryan Braun single. The 4th inning, the Phillies were able to tie the game after getting the bases loaded. And then Jake Arrieta working out a walk from the number 9 spot. Phillies left the bases loaded in the top of the 4th inning, but scores tied at 3 now in a brand new ball game. There's Justin Smoak. Smoak switch hitter batting from the left side of the plate. He is 1 for 1. He doubled earlier in the game, fouls that pitch off and falls behind 0-2 against Arrieta. So also Adrian Hauser, the starter for the Brewers, he got pulled in that top of the 4th inning.
That's the ball.
So he officially goes 3 2/3 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. He will not get a decision. Went through the shift, and that's going to get to the outfield. Smoke rounds first and stops there. Hazley gets it in quickly. And that's a leadoff single for Justin Smoak. Nobody out, bottom of the 4th inning. Don't forget you're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. You can find full games, highlights, updates, and standings
Count 1-0.
in relation to all 30 teams around Major League Baseball and schedules for upcoming games week to week. You can find that all here on MLB Virtual Network, the YouTube channel, and you can also follow the Twitter page at Virtual MLB for all news regarding this league, so check it out. 1-0 pitch to Brock Holt, misses outside. The count's 2 balls and no strikes on him now. Holt, a former Boston Red Sox, playing in his first season now with the Brewers, grounds that left side. Gregorius with a smooth play. Goes to Segura for 1. Back to Hoskins. That's not in time, so Holt will reach on the fielder's choice, and Justin Smoak is out at second base, 1 out. Going to bring up the Brewers' number 7 hitter, Omar Narvaez. He'll bat with 1 out and a runner on first base. This game tied at 3. This is game 2 of a 4-game series between these two teams. The Brewers won game 1. This is game 2, and each game will be played consecutively. There will be no off days.
Nope, that's down.
So tomorrow is game 3, and then Thursday will be the finale, game 4. But not a pitcher's duel in this game. Already 3 threes to score.
2 balls, no strikes.
And Navarro's in a hitter's count now. 2 balls and no strikes. The Phillies had the lead through the first 2 innings. The Brewers had a lead for less than half an inning, and the Phillies were able to tie the game. And now it's 3-3, bottom of the 4th. Brewers on offense. This game being played at Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 2-1 pitch coming from Arrieta. Chopped on the ground toward the middle. Arrieta stabs it, throws to Gregorius at second for 1. Back to Hoskins. That's a double play. Holt out at second. Navarro is out at first. And that ends the 4th inning. We'll go to the 5th inning. Look at those fans. It's good to see fans from each side interacting with each other in a positive and rather fun-looking manner. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Coming into the 5th inning, the Brewers and Phillies are tied at 3. Corbin Burns starting an inning for the first time this game. And gets Real Muto to ground out to Smoke. That's 1 out. And that starts the top of the 5th inning. But Burns comes in and he replaced Adrian Hauser, who went 3 2/3 innings but couldn't pitch himself out of the 4th inning, and he gave up all 3 earned runs that the Phillies scored. Jake Arrieta's at this point still on the mound for the Phillies. But Arrieta has 3 runs on his scoreline so far. Here's Bryce Harper, responsible for scoring 2 of the 3 Phillies runs. He had a home run in the 1st inning, a 2-run home run. Facing Corbin Burns for the first time, and he swings and misses at that pitch. Burns throwing 95 miles per hour. And the count quickly 0-2 on the Phillies right fielder. 0-2 pitch. That's in the dirt. Counts 1-2. The retractable roof closed on this night. Partly cloudy conditions, but always safe just to keep it closed in any event that weather might become a factor. That ball played well, and Bryce Harper grounds out. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Here's Rhys Hoskins. 0 for 2 out of the cleanup spot with the Phillies. Facing Corbin Burns for the first time. That pitch misses inside. That's ball 1.
Counts 1-0.
Hoskins now batting .281 on the year after being 0 for 2 in this game. Yesterday, Hoskins
Count 3-0.
Yesterday, Hoskins went 0 for 4. And he reaches base for the first time in this series after getting walked with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Didi Gregorius. He's 2 for 2, singled and doubled in this game. He also scored on the Jake Arrieta walk last inning. Signed in free agency this past offseason. Joins his former manager of the Yankees, Joe Girardi. Girardi also in his first year managing the Phillies. Managed the Yankees from 2008 to 2017 and had a hiatus in 2018 and 19, but back managing in 2020 with the Phillies. Burns comes off the mound to make that play. Gregorius is out, and that ends the top of the 5th inning. Phillies get no runs and leave a runner on base. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning, it's the Phillies 3 and the Brewers 3. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. The Brewers and the Phillies tied at 3. Jake Arrieta entering now his 5th inning, pitching with the Phillies in this game. And falls behind quickly to Orlando Arcia, 2 balls, no strikes. Game 2 of a 4-game series. The Brewers won Game 1. This Game 2, Game 3's tomorrow, and Game 4's on Thursday. This is already the 2nd time that these two played each other in a series this year. As Harper makes that play, that's out number 1. These two also played each other at the beginning of April, played each other on April 2nd, 4th, and 5th.
Number 24, Avisail Garcia.
And the Brewers won only 1 game in that 3-game series. Avisail Garcia comes off the bench, and he'll pinch hit. So Corbin Burns pitches an inning and a 3rd and gives up no runs. But the Brewers playing for offense now after their starter Adrian Hauser got knocked out of the game after 3 2/3 innings. Here comes the 1-1, and that's on the ground left side. Gregorius boots it, and Garcia will reach. And that'll be an error on Didi Gregorius. That's now the 2nd error made by the Phillies in this game. Kingery made an error in the 3rd inning that allowed the Brewers to score the 3 runs that they did. It set the table for it. It wasn't an exact correlation, but didn't help. And now Gregorius commits an error there. That allows Garcia to reach with 1 out. And back to the top of the order, here's Eric Sogard. Hit well to right field. Harper going back to the wall, and it's gone! 2-run home run for Eric Sogard. The Brewers have taken the lead again. It's 5-3 here in the 5th inning. These fans want Brewtober time already. This team made the postseason last year, but fans need to settle down. We're still in April. That's the first home run hit by the Brewers in this game, and it's thanks to Eric Sogard. That's just 1 earned run for Jake Arrieta on his line, by the way, because Gregorius' error allowed Avisail Garcia to reach. And that's on the ground, 3rd base. There's Kingery. And Kingery throws to Hoskins. So a 1 pitch out of Kane now puts 2 outs on the board in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Christian Yelich. Yelich 1 for 2. He doubled home a run back in the 3rd inning. Now his team back on top again in the bottom of the 5th. Into the shift, Segura plays, tries to make a play, but Yelich beats it out. And another runner on for the Brewers, and this inning extended a bit further. They bring up cleanup hitter Ryan Braun. Braun is 1 for 2. He had an RBI single that brought home 2 runs. Tried to stretch it into a double, got thrown out, but both runs counted before he got tagged. That gave the Brewers the lead in the 3rd inning on his single. Yelich with an advanced lead over there at first, able to get back safely, though. Phillies ended up tying the game in the 4th inning. That pitch misses inside. But now in the 5th, the Brewers have taken the lead. Eric Sogard just homered. There's a 2-run home run that's made it 5-3, and another look over at Yelich from Arrieta. And Yelich is back safely. Arrieta working up toward 80 pitches now. And another look at Yelich. Yeah, this is where fans start to get restless. That was the 5th time that Arrieta threw over. One-0 pitch. Finds the zone. Counts even at 1. Quite an offensively filled game so far. 5-3, bottom of the 5th. 2 runs in for the Brewers this half inning. And the heart of the order moving through. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Braun. That misses, counts 2-1. So Adrian Hauser, the starter of the Brewers, will get a no decision. Corbin Burns will not come out for the 6th inning. He was replaced offensively by Avisail Garcia in this inning. So Burns right now is in line for the win, and that's still... That decision being final is still well out of reach. This game teeter-tottered early, and there's no doubt that the Phillies have the capability to come back. But that's where they stand right now. Burns in line for the win.
Count is 3-2.
If the Brewers can hold a lead. Arrieta trying to work out of trouble. Yelich runs on the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs, and called strike 3 over the outside edge. Ryan Braun strikes out to end the 5th inning. But Eric Sogard, 2-run home run in that bottom of the 5th inning. That gives the Brewers a 5-3 lead going into the 6th.
Your attention, please. Now pitching.
JP Feyereisen
JP.
coming in and pitching in his 8th game of the season. Has 2 wins out of the bullpen with the Brewers. And Alex Claudio warming up now in the Brewers bullpen as well. And it'll be a bullpen kind of game for the Brewers for the remainder. Segura lines it into the glove of Orlando Arcia, and that's out number 1 on 1 pitch to start the 6th inning. And Scott Kingery, the number 7 hitter, moves toward the batter's box, and Ray Black has now joined Alex Claudio in the Brewers bullpen. Meanwhile, Jake Arrieta pitched the 5th inning for the Phillies. It's questionable whether he'll come in the 6th. But the Phillies have not had to go to their bullpen yet. Despite that, the Brewers have put more runs on the board than the Phillies have. So we'll see how this one continues to progress. Here's Scott Kingery on the 0-1 pitch. He takes it. Counts even 1-1. See the double barrel action there, lefty and righty. In the Brewers bullpen. Feyereisen's 1-1 pitch on the way. Check swing and no swing. Umpires don't dictate any commitment there. Counts 2 balls and a strike now. Standings update for both teams will come at you momentarily. We'll wait for the Kingery at bat to conclude. Update you on where the teams stand entering this game. 3-1 pitch coming to Kingery. Popped up behind the plate. Navarez makes the catch. That's out number 2. So we'll start with the visiting Philadelphia Phillies. The standings in the NL East show the Nationals at the top with an 11-5 record. Nationals on a 3-game winning streak entering today. The Phillies at the moment are tied with the Marlins for second place with a 9-8 record. There's Adam Hazley. Struck out after getting hit with a pitch. He swung at a pitch that hit him in his last at bat. But anyway, the Braves 8-10 in 4th place, and the Mets 6-10 in 5th place. But the Phillies right now 2.5 games back of the NL East lead to the Nationals.
1-1.
And then the Brewers tied for the top of the NL Central with the Chicago Cubs, each team 10-6. And the closest teams to them are the Pirates and Cardinals. Pirates and Cardinals tied for 3rd place with 8-8 records, each of them 2 games out of the NL Central lead.
That's ball 2.
So although these two teams aren't playing a divisional game right now, these two will have implications in their own divisions at the conclusion. Garcia throws to Smoke. Hazley's out, and that ends the top of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Phillies. Going to the bottom of the 6th, it's the Brewers 5 and the Phillies 3.
Your attention, please.
Ranger Suarez comes out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Jake Arrieta is finished. Arrieta officially went 5 innings pitched. Gave up 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. And he is in line for the loss. That's pending a Phillies comeback. But here's Justin Smoke. Switch hitter batting from the right side, and he's batting from the right side for the first time this game. Batted lefty against the righty Arrieta, but will now bat righty against the lefty Suarez. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a ground ball, that'll be foul. Counts even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewers lead 5-3. Brewers scored 3 runs in the 3rd inning and scored a couple runs on a 2-run home run by Eric Sogard in the 5th. 1-1 pitch. That misses, counts 2-1. Meanwhile, the Phillies scored in the 1st inning on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run and scored in the 4th inning on a Jake Arrieta bases loaded walk. And yeah, Jake Arrieta is a pitcher. Wasn't a great moment for Adrian Hauser, who officially went 3 2/3 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. No runs have been scored since the starters have been taken out of this game, and Suarez strikes out Justin Smoke. So the first out he records is a strikeout. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Brock Holt. Brock Holt is stepping up for the 3rd time, and he's hitless in 2 at-bats. 1 for 6 now in the whole series. Got a hit in yesterday's game. It's game 2 of a 4-game series. Brewers won yesterday 2-0, and much more offense being produced in game 2 here. That's hit to left for a base hit. Holt now 1 for 3 today. And Omar Narvaez coming up to the plate now. Narvaez 0 for 2. Runner goes, and that pitch popped up. Holt's got to retreat back to first. Catch made by Scott Kingery. And that hit and run didn't work out too well for the Brewers. There's now 2 outs. Holt thankfully gets back to first base. And here comes Orlando Arcia. He's 1 for 2. He hit a double in the 3rd inning. And that pitch misses low, ball 1. Arcia 3 for 9 in his last 3 games. Before this series, the Brewers played in a 4-game series with the Mets. So this is kind of their NL East tour. They played the Mets in a 4-game series, have the Phillies in a 4-game series here, and then we'll play the Mets again in a 3-game series immediately following Mets. Two-one pitch coming to Arcia from Suarez. Swing and a miss, counts even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brock Holt's on first, he's singled. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that's outside. Counts run full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitcher's spot on deck right now, that's occupied by Feyereisen. Holt should be running on the pitch. And he is. 3-2. Hit foul, so everything will reset. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first base, bottom of the 6th. Suarez out of the bullpen in his first inning. There's the 3-2 again. That hit well to right field. Over goes Harper, and he'll make the catch. And that'll end the bottom of the 6th. The Brewers get no runs on 1 hit and leave 1 runner on base. Through 6 full innings, it's the Brewers 5 and the Phillies 3.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20.
number 5,
I'm Nicholas Callis,
Williams.
and there's Nick Williams. He will pinch hit for Ranger Suarez, who goes 1 inning and gives up no runs. Phillies playing for some offense, though, now late in this game. Are down 5-3 in the 7th. Nick Williams was once a top prospect in the Phillies organization and played right field for a couple years in 2016 and 17. And lines that pitch toward right center, but into a shifted outfield. The 1 out, top of the 7th. We'll bring up leadoff hitter Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen's 1 for 3. He doubled in the first inning, scored on the Bryce Harper home run. That's spot in tonight's game. Takes ball 1 outside. Feyereisen still on the mound. Came in the 6th and now pitching in the 7th. McCutchen fouls that pitch off. Counts even, 1 ball and 1 strike. McCutchen, former Pittsburgh Pirate, won some Silver Slug awards and Gold Gloves in the outfield. Also won the 2013 Most Valuable Player Award in the National League. Following his Pirates career, played for the San Francisco Giants for half of 2018, played for the New York Yankees for the other half, and then signed a deal with the Phillies in the 2018-19 offseason. In his second year now with the Phillies, had a season-ending injury last year in his leg, and missed the first 2 weeks of the season here in 2020, but he's back in the lineup now, and has batted leadoff ever since he's been back. Lines out to Sogard there. That's out number 2.
The batter, the catcher.
Well struck ball, just hitting the wrong place for him. Well, depending what side you're looking at, too. He hit it the right place if you're a Brewers fan. But dangerous arms warming up now in the bullpen for the Brewers. It's Corey Knebel and Josh Hader. Here's JT Realmuto. He's 1 for 3. He hit a single earlier in the game. Batting here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. His team down by 2, and the base is empty. That pitch misses, and the count in Realmuto's favor now. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 pitch from Feyereisen. Looking to complete 2 full innings out of the bullpen. Hit high out to left center field. Ryan Braun trying to run it down, and he will run it down. And the 7th inning's over. It's stretch time here at Miller Park, and the home team is winning. It's 5-3. Brewers lead the Phillies.
Your attention, please. Now,
Deolis Guerra comes out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Has done well in the 9 games he's pitched in prior to this appearance.
Pinch hitting for the Brewers, number 16.
ERA in the low 1s for 6 2/3 innings, and the Brewers will make a substitution of their own. Here's Ben Gamel. Strike 1 called on Gamel. Better known for his defense, once played for the Seattle Mariners. Now playing for the Brewers. Was a part of their outfield, but the Brewers have signed so much outfield depth
Inside, ball one.
that it's hard to fit him in the lineup, especially when you have an outfield that consists of Ryan Braun, Lorenzo Cain, and Christian Yelich. And now he's competing with Avisail Garcia, who's newly signed to this team. Counts 1-2 on him. Gamble in a tough position right now and has been limited to being a bench bat and sometimes a defensive replacement because of Ryan Braun's lack of defensive capabilities in his older age. Ben Gamble's come in as a defensive replacement in left field several times for the Brewers, and look at that, off the bench, he's got himself a hit. McCutchen throws it into Segura. That's a leadoff single off the bench for Ben Gamble.
Now batting, the third baseman, Eric Sogard.
And the top of the order coming back up for the Brewers. Here's Eric Sogard. Sogard in the fifth inning hit a 2-run home run. That was back when the game was tied at 3, but after this, score became 5-3, and that's the last time either team scored. He's batting here in the 7th now. His team still has the lead. Facing Deolis Guerra for the first time this game and takes ball 1. So J.P. Fireeisen officially out of the game, pitched 2 full innings and didn't give up a run. Played by Gregorius to Segura. Back to Hoskins. That's a double play. Gregorius did not catch that ball in the air, played it off the ground, and the Phillies earn a double play on that. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Here's Lorenzo Cain. He's 1 for 3. Jose Alvarez and Sir Anthony Dominguez both warming up now in the Phillies bullpen. But the Brewers have 2 dangerous arms warming up of their own. Corey Knebel and Josh Hader still warming up.
0-1.
Dominguez the righty and Alvarez the lefty, double barrel action in the bullpen. The 0-1 coming from Guerra. That's outside, counts even 1-1. But the Brewers bullpen has gotten significantly more dangerous. Corey Knebel was on the injured list to start the year. He just came back
Count is 2-1.
around the end of last week. And with him and Hader in the bullpen being 1-2 punches, hitters will have a tough time being able to score in the late innings. Cain serves that pitch into right field, and he's got himself a 2-out single. And the inning continues.
Now batting, the right fielder, Christian Yelich.
Gonna bring up Christian Yelich. Hit an RBI double in the 3rd inning. Now Adam Morgan, a lefty, joins Jose Alvarez, and Sir Anthony Dominguez sits down. Yelich starting 2020 off at a hot pace, now batting .351. Still an early point in the season, though.
Ball, that's out.
Typically, averages will still fluctuate around this time. Not enough at-bats have been recorded yet for any player.
Yeah.
And a few players on the league leaderboard still batting in the 400s. This is week 3 of Major League Baseball.
I got to count.
Started at the end of March and played through now a couple weeks in April. 2-2 pitch to Yelich. Swing and a miss, got him to chase. And despite giving up a couple hits, Guerra keeps the Brewers scoreless in the 7th. Moving to the 8th inning, it's the Brewers 5 and the Phillies 3.
Your attention, please.
And here's David Phelps, a pitcher who was not warming up for the Brewers in that 7th inning. He's coming out as more of a surprise to us. For me. Here's Bryce Harper coming up to the plate, and we'll watch his replay of him hitting a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. I gave the Phillies an early 2-0 lead. The Phillies lost that lead in the 3rd inning when the Brewers scored 3 runs. And many other series of events happened, and now it's 5-3. But Harper responsible for 2 of the 3 runs that the Phillies have scored to this point. Here's David Phelps, former New York Yankee, Miami Marlin, and Chicago Cub. Now playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. Helping to add depth to their bullpen. Phelps was once a starter with the New York Yankees, and that didn't pan out well. He spent the rest of his career as a relief pitcher in the other organizations he's been in. He's able to strike out Bryce Harper there. And that's one out in the top of the 8th inning.
The first baseman, number 17.
And Corey Knebel and Josh Hader still throwing in the bullpen, although David Phelps came out of nowhere. And the Brewers must be willing to trust him with a 2-run lead late in the game. Here's Rhys Hoskins, take strike 1. Hoskins reached base once in the 5th inning. That was on a walk. Otherwise, he's 0 for 2. That 0-1 misses outside, counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. Attendance north of 23,000 for this game. And a check swing, and the home plate umpire says he did not go around. But as he was swinging, that pitch hit him, so Hoskins awarded first base. An unfortunate play for the Brewers, but the Phillies catch a break. Here's Didi Gregorius. Gregorius 2 for 3. He singled, doubled, and scored a run. All in this game. He represents the potential tying run now and pops that pitch up on the first one he sees from Phelps. Holding the outfield. Shallow outfield makes the catch. Hoskins doesn't go anywhere but back to first base. And now with 2 outs, Gene Segura will come to the plate. You see there, he just got under it. That pitch caught a lot of the plate. But Gregorius couldn't do much with it. Now here's Gene Segura. He's 1 for 3, singled in the 4th inning. Now he represents the potential tying run in the batter's box. Facing David Phelps for the first time. Here's the first pitch. That's a strike. It's 0-1. Segura, former Milwaukee Brewer, Arizona Diamondback, and Seattle Mariner. Now a part of the Phillies. So he's been a part of 4 of the 6 divisions in Major League Baseball. The NL Central, the NL West, the AL West, now the NL East. That pitch foul in the count 1-2. Swing and a miss. David Phelps works around the hit by pitch and keeps the Phillies scoreless in the 8th. No runs, no hits, 1 hit by pitch in the inning, and 1 runner left on base. Going to the bottom of the 8th, it's the Brewers 5 and the Phillies 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
Sir Anthony
Now
Dominguez
pitching for the Phillies.
comes out of the bullpen for the Phillies as one of the setup pitchers. He was experimented with as the closer of the team in 2017 when he was a younger pitcher, but
Leading off for the
it didn't work out very well for him. He had
left fielder,
control issues and wasn't producing and saving games for the Phillies, so they moved him to a setup role. Hector Neris has worked in and out of the closer's role. The Phillies signed David Robertson as well in the 2018-19 offseason, but he got hurt. He's on the injured list right now and most likely won't return until at the earliest August of the season. Might also miss the rest of the 2020 season as well. So we're yet to find out what his exact timeline is, but right now Robertson not coming back anytime soon, so Neris is assuming the responsibilities of closer right now, and Sir Anthony Dominguez is a setup pitcher in the Phillies bullpen. And he walks Ryan Braun on 4 straight pitches to begin the bottom of the 8th.
The first baseman, number 12.
And that'll bring up Justin Smoke,
Justin.
who's hit well in this game, has 2 hits in 3 at-bats, and has bolstered his average a bit, now batting .321 with a .429 on-base percentage. Here comes the first pitch to him from Dominguez. That's outside, ball one, and Dominguez has now thrown 5 straight pitches out of the zone. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swinging a foul ball, counts even 1-1. Don't forget, tomorrow is April the 15th, and it's Jackie Robinson Day. Celebrating the first African-American athlete to play in American professional sports. We'll, of course, be celebrating that here on Major League Baseball's virtual network, but
1 ball, 2 strikes.
there will be a ceremony held online, so if you look at MLB, the YouTube channel, or check MLB Network, or Facebook, I'm sure Twitter, you can find the real ceremony that will take place in honor of Jackie Robinson Day. Although real baseball isn't being played, Major League Baseball is still celebrating him with a ceremony that will take place on the internet. So again, or even on TV, check MLB Network and check the MLB YouTube channel. 2-2 pitch to Justin Smoke. He swings and misses. One up the ladder with that pitch and couldn't make contact. That's out number 1. Sir Anthony Dominguez. His first strikeout coming out of the bullpen. And that's out number 1. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Brewers have a 5-3 lead. Scored 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Got 2 runs on an Eric Sogard 2-run home run in the 5th inning. The Phillies haven't scored since the 4th. And swinging a miss by Brock Holt. That's strike 1. The Phillies scored in the 1st inning on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run. And the last time the Phillies scored was in the 4th inning when Jake Arrieta was awarded a bases-loaded walk that drove home Didi Gregorius.
Inside, ball 1.
Counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. On the Brewers starting second baseman. Earned a starting job at second base with them because of a few injuries to the Brewers infielders.
I got the count 1 and 2.
Holt was just signed in the offseason. And hits that pitch out to left field, played by Andrew McCutchen. He'll make the catch, and he'll get it in quickly. Going back to first is Ryan Braun, and that's the second out of this bottom of the 8th inning. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more virtual baseball and news. MLB Virtual Network. That's the YouTube channel, and follow at Virtual MLB on Twitter for more news and other videos posted from YouTube on the Twitter page. You'll get news, schedules, and more from the Twitter page.
Nope, inside, ball 2.
At Virtual MLB on Twitter and MLB Virtual Network on YouTube. Here's Omar Narvaez. Has a hitter's count now against Dominguez. 2-0 pitch. That's a strike. 100
2 balls, 1 strike.
miles per hour on that fastball. It was never a question of velocity for Dominguez. Certainly has a power arm, but has lacked control
2-2 count.
in his young career. 2-2 count on the Brewers catcher. Here's the pitch. That misses outside. Counts full 3-2, and Ryan Braun should be running on the pitch. Orlando Arcia on deck, and he would bat if Omar Narvaez could get on base. 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. That's too high. That's ball 4.
Ball 4.
And Omar Narvaez works a 2-out walk, and Dominguez has now walked 2 batters in this half inning.
Orlando.
That'll bring up number 8 hitter Orlando Arcia. Arcia is 1 for 3. He doubled in the 3rd inning. And some insurance runs on base now. The Brewers lead 5-3, but have an opportunity to score some more runs. First pitch to Arcia. It's a check swing, but the home plate umpire said Arcia committed to it. That's strike 1. Early in this season, Arcia batting .300 with runners in scoring position. Braun's at second, and Navarez is at first. The pitcher's spot is on deck for the Brewers. So Sir Anthony Dominguez might have a base to work with here. But the Brewers still have 4 bench bats to work with, and that answers that. Arcia will reach base on a hit by pitch. And not too happy about that. Nearly 100 miles an hour up and in.
Your attention, please.
Doesn't seem as scary when you're watching it on television, but
Number 28.
a pitch coming in, a baseball coming in that quickly up towards your head. It is a scary feeling, but anyway, here's Ryan Healy. Takes strike 1. Healy was as infield depth for the Brewers. Started the year in the minor leagues, but with Jed Jerko and Kieston Hira both getting injured, he's had an opportunity to come up to the major league roster. And he's appeared in a few games off the bench. Plays first and third base. Batting in a pivotal spot here. Braun on third, Navarez on second, Arcia on first. 2 outs, 1-1 count on him. Dominguez, 25th pitch of his outing is hit foul down the left field line. And Dominguez now ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Josh Hader, Corey Knebel still warming up in the Brewers bullpen. 1-2 pitch. Chased it. And Sir Anthony Dominguez works around 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And gets out of the 8th inning, keeping the Brewers at 5 runs. No runs, no hits, but 3 runners reached and didn't score. We'll go to the 9th. Last chance for the Phillies in regulation. It's 5-3.
Now pitching for the Brewers.
And here comes one of the hottest pitchers, one of the hottest closers in baseball right now. It's Josh Hader. Pitching in his 10th game, and despite blowing a save to the Mets in the Brewers' last series, he has been hot. Has saved 8 games in 9 opportunities. Will face the bottom of the Phillies order. Scott Kingery, Adam Hazley, and then the pitcher's spot. Wherever the Phillies decide to fill that role. Or whoever the Phillies decide to fill that spot in the lineup with. Hader has a 3.24 ERA entering play. 93 on that 2-seam fastball, it looked like, and the count's 1-2 now on Kingery. Kingery 0 for 2. 1-2 pitch. That misses inside. 98 miles per hour. Hader throws in the high 90s and has a nasty breaking slider. Hasn't thrown any breaking balls yet. And the count worked full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Phillies third baseman. Quick pitch, and that's that breaking ball. Got Kingery to chase it. 1 out, top of the 9th inning.
Up next for Philadelphia, the center fielder, Adam.
And that's why that slider of Hader's is so dangerous. When he throws 98, typically what a hitter sees is that fastball might hit a corner. For example, there it might hit the lower inside corner Kingery was thinking, but once he commits to the swing and the pitch breaks inside, he can't stop his swing. And that's what makes pitchers like Hader so dangerous. High velocity on breaking balls and fastballs. And sometimes hitters have to play a guessing game. 1-0 pitch to Adam Hazley. 97. And Hader falls behind another hitter. 2-0 is the count. Hader was not originally the closer of the Brewers coming up. He had been a setup pitcher. Broke into the league in 2018. But with Corey Knebel starting the year on the injured list, Hader became the closer of the Brewers. And he's had such a hot start to 2020 that The Brewers have left him in at closer, even though Corey Knebel's off the injured list and back on the active roster now. And that's 2 strikeouts for Hader. Phillies have 1 out to work with. And the number 9 spot coming up, the pitcher's spot. 2 up next.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And here comes Josh Harrison,
for Philadelphia, number 7,
a veteran infielder.
Harrison.
Definitely favors hitting against lefties over righties.
Off the plate, ball 1.
And he'll bat with 2 outs in the top of the 9th as the last opportunity for the Phillies. Harrison, a former Pittsburgh Pirate, came up with them in 2012, played there from 2012 to 2018. Played for the Tigers in 2019 and starting his first year with the Phillies here in 2020, but he flies out to Ryan Braun, and the ball game is over. Josh Hader now with 9 saves on the season, and the Milwaukee Brewers now have 11 wins and remain in first place in the NL Central. The Brewers now have also won the first 2 games of this 4-game series. Game 3 will be tomorrow. But a game filled with offense, certainly not classified as a pitcher's duel. You'll see the final line score there. A home run by Harper put 2 runs up in the first inning. The Brewers scored 3 runs on hits by Yelich and Braun, and then scored 2 runs in the 5th on an Eric Sogard 2-run home run.
The final line score.
That's how the Brewers win this ball game. Just to review the standings now for these 2 teams, starting with the Brewers improved to 11-6 on a 4-game winning streak now, and pending where the Cubs finish after today, the Brewers will either be tied with the Cubs or will have sole possession of first place in the NL Central, but either way, the Brewers cannot fall below first place after this win against the Phillies tonight. Meanwhile, the Phillies drop now to 9-9, now 3 games back of the NL East, and pending how the Nationals do and how the Marlins do will determine whether the Phillies excuse me, goodness, the game is so exciting, I'm running on exhaustion right now. But the Phillies now 9-9, and depending on how the Marlins do will determine whether the Phillies stay tied for second place or move down to third place, and the Nationals will determine how far back the Phillies are from the NL East lead. Anyway, the win goes to Corbin Burns, pitched 1 1/3 innings. Jake Arrieta got the loss, gave up 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. He got the loss. Josh Hader got the save, got 2 strikeouts in the inning he pitched, which was the 9th. Going over a quick scoring summary, the Philadelphia Phillies got 2 runs on a Bryce Harper 2-run home run in the top of the 1st. The Brewers came back in the bottom of the 3rd. They scored 3 runs thanks to a Christian Yelich RBI double that netted 1 run, and then Ryan Braun hit a 2-run single. And that was all 3 runs. In the top of the 4th inning, the Phillies tied the game after Jake Arrieta got issued a bases-loaded walk. He got an RBI, and that tied the game at 3. But soon after, in the bottom of the 5th, the Brewers got a 2-run home run from Eric Sogard that gave the Brewers the lead, and nobody scored past that point. Brewers win 5-3. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network. I'm Nicholas Callis. Be sure to follow us on Twitter @VirtualMLB and subscribe to the YouTube channel MLB Virtual Network. Once again, the final score, the Milwaukee Brewers 5 and the Philadelphia Phillies 3.